I think, therefore I am. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Philosophy is a battle against the bewitchment of our intelligence by means of language. Philosophy is at once the most sublime and the most trivial of human pursuits. The more you know you don't know. Success is a lousy teacher, but failure is a friend, philosopher, and guide. He was a dreamer, a thinker, a speculative philosopher, or as his wife would have it, an idiot. All are lunatics, but he who can analyze his delusions is called a philosopher. A philosopher once said, "Half of good philosophy is good grammar." I only know one thing, and that is I know nothing. A little philosophy inclineth man's mind to atheism, but depth in philosophy bringeth men's minds about to religion. All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. All things will be produced in superior quantity and quality, and with greater ease, when each man works at a single occupation, in accordance with his natural gifts, and at the right moment, without meddling with anything else. Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. A man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it, is committing another mistake. Good can exist without evil, whereas evil cannot exist without good. Good and evil, reward and punishment, are the only motives to a rational creature. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Is man merely a mistake of God's? Or God merely a mistake of man's? It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. It is absurd and disgraceful to live magnificently and luxuriously when so many are hungry. It is just that we should be grateful, not only to those with whose views we may agree, but also to those who have expressed more superficial views, for these also contributed something, by developing before us the powers of thought. It is not enough to have a good mind, the main thing is to use it well. It is one thing to show a man that he is in error, and another to put him in possession of truth. It is undesirable to believe a proposition when there is no ground whatever for supposing it true. It is wrong always, everywhere, and for everyone, to believe anything upon insufficient evidence. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Looking at small advantages prevents great affairs from being accomplished. Nature is beautiful because it looks like art, and art can only be called beautiful if we are conscious of it as art while yet it looks like nature. Never form a friendship with a man who is not better than you. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. The world of reality has its limits, the world of imagination is boundless. Things alter for the worse spontaneously, if they be not altered for the better designedly. To be satisfied with a little, is the greatest wisdom, and he that increaseth his riches, increaseth his care, but a contented mind is a hidden treasure, and trouble findeth it not. To know what people really think, pay regard to what they do rather than what they say. To one who has faith, no explanation is necessary. To one without faith, no explanation is possible. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. We do not describe the world we see. We see the world we can describe. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. You can discover more about a person in an hour of play than in a year of conversation. Dare to know. Have the courage to use your own intelligence. Eyes and ears are poor witnesses to people if they have uncultured souls. Freedom is secured not by the fulfilling of one's desires, but by the removal of desire. He who thinks great thoughts, often makes great errors. I can control my passions and emotions if I can understand their nature. If you ask me what I came to do in this world, I, an artist, will answer you, I am here to live out loud. It is hard to contend against one's heart's desire, for whatever it wishes to have it buys at the cost of soul. Man is born free, but is everywhere in chains. Metaphysics is a dark ocean without shores or lighthouse, strewn with many a philosophic wreck. My heart is at ease knowing that what was meant for me will never miss me, and that what misses me was never meant for me. Persuasion is achieved by the speaker's personal character when the speech is spoken as to make us think him credible. The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. The wealth required by nature is limited and is easy to procure, but the wealth required by vain ideals extends to infinity. This fire that we call loving is too strong for human minds, but just right for human souls. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. When we are tired, we are attacked by ideas we conquered long ago. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. When you learn to survive without anyone, you can survive anything. You will never do anything in this world without courage. It is the greatest quality of the mind next to honor. A day without laughter is a day wasted. All is for the best in the best of all possible worlds. An ounce of action is worth a ton of theory. Art is not what you see, but what you make others see. Better to be wise by the misfortunes of others than by your own. Do not say a little in many words but a great deal in few. Entities should not be multiplied unnecessarily. In everything, there is a share of everything. If you hate a person, then you're defeated by them. It's strange how simple things become, once you see them clearly. Leisure is the mother of philosophy. Man is the measure of all things. Man is condemned to be free. No one that encounters prosperity does not also encounter danger. One cannot step twice in the same river. Out of the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. Reason has always existed, but not always in a reasonable form. The mind is furnished with ideas by experience alone. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. The past has no power over the present moment. Virtue is nothing else than right reason. We are too weak to discover the truth by reason alone. We live in the best of all possible worlds. When anger arises, think of the consequences. Whatever is reasonable is true, and whatever is true is reasonable. What is rational is actual, and what is actual is rational. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. You only learn when you give your whole being to something. A no uttered from deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please, or worse, to avoid trouble. Don't bend, don't water it down, don't try to make it logical, don't edit your own soul according to the fashion. Rather, follow your most intense obsessions mercilessly. Suffering becomes beautiful when anyone bears great calamities with cheerfulness, not through insensibility but through greatness of mind. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. The brave man is he who overcomes not only his enemies but his pleasures. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. God is dead. He remains dead. And we have killed him. God is not willing to do everything, and thus take away our free will and that share of glory which belongs to us. I am all that hath been, and is, and shall be, and my veil no mortal has hitherto raised. I am called a dog because I fawn on those who give me anything, I yelp at those who refuse, and I set my teeth in rascals. If God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. If men were born free, they would, so long as they remained free, form no conception of good and evil. If they spit at you behind your back, it means you're ahead of them. Man will never be free until the last king is strangled with the entrails of the last priest. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. One cannot conceive anything so strange and so implausible that it has not already been said by one philosopher or another. Only one man ever understood me, and he didn't understand me. Prejudices are what fools use for reason. Science is what you know. Philosophy is what you don't know. That man is wisest who, like Socrates, realizes that his wisdom is worthless. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability, he is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability that he has. There are two things a person should never be angry at, what they can help, and what they cannot. There is only one thing a philosopher can be relied upon to do, and that is to contradict other philosophers. There is only one way to avoid criticism: do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. The philosopher has never killed any priests, whereas the priest has killed a great many philosophers. There is nothing so absurd that some philosopher has not already said it. By all means, marry. If you get a good wife, you'll become happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. Warmth is the vital element for the growing plant and for the soul of the child. It is, in fact, nothing short of a miracle that the modern methods of instruction have not yet entirely strangled the holy curiosity of inquiry, for this delicate little plant, aside from stimulation, stands mainly in need of freedom. Without this it goes to rack and ruin without fail. It is a grave mistake to think that the enjoyment of seeing and searching can be promoted by means of coercion and a sense of duty. Even while they teach, men learn. Good teaching is 1/4 preparation and 3/4 pure theater. I am always ready to learn although I do not always like being. I am always ready to learn although I do not always like being taught. Learning without thought is labor lost, thought without learning is perilous. If you use a philosophy education well, you can get your foot in the door of any industry you please. Industries are like the blossoms on a tree while philosophy is the trunk, it holds the tree together, but it often goes unnoticed. Human history becomes more and more a race between education and catastrophe. A fool's brain digests philosophy into folly, science into superstition, and art into pedantry. Hence university education. The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. The foundation of every state is the education of its youth. The mediocre teacher tells. The good teacher explains. The superior teacher demonstrates. The great teacher inspires. A teacher who is attempting to teach without inspiring the pupil with a desire to learn is hammering on cold iron. Since philosophy is the art which teaches us how to live, and since children need to learn it as much as we do at other ages, why do we not instruct them in it? But in truth I know nothing about the philosophy of education except this, that the greatest and the most important difficulty known to human learning seems to lie in that area which treats how to bring up children and how to educate them. And we wonder what can be that philosophy of education, which believes that young people can be trained to the duties of citizenship by wrapping their minds in cotton wool. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. For the object of education is to teach us to love beauty.